just wanted to start with this one to have a discussion that we asked some questions the other day that I want you to think based on whatever learning you have over the last couple of days with respect to the Indian condition, how you can apply or the knowledge that you have from the from overseas, what they have been doing, at least in Australia, how that can be applied for the Indian condition. To begin with, think about what are the challenges that are there in the Indian traffic condition. Just don't worry about traffic control, a broad one, like what are the challenges that you as a traffic engineer are facing to manage and control your transport system. So think about some challenges and please speak about it so that the entire group hear it and then we can discuss on them. First challenges, then we will ask, okay, these are challenges. What you think as a researcher or even as a practitioner should be the research questions that we should be focusing on. Yeah, so that's the end objective. Basically, have some discussion on totally Indian condition. We know that our transport network is there, is a multimodal, it's a complex transport network. There are different modes of transport. India has its own level of complexity, which you have already been, Akhilesh discussed about it on day one itself. And we are part of the system. We know that complexity. Data are there, data collection have their own issue, like what data do we need for the problem at hand? And then there will be some issues with respect to the data availability. Then comes your actually control also your actually decision making points, that from the data you like to make some decision but you are trying to address specific challenges at hand. So what do you think are the key challenges in the Indian traffic condition with respect to traffic congestion, safety, sustainability?
One of the main
Yes,
challenges
please.
is wrong side. One of the main challenges is wrong side driving.
Wrong side driving. Okay, people are not
Yeah,
following the rules. Yep, it's basically
you have
poor
to.
compliance of the traffic rules and they don't have the proper sense of driving. Pretty good. So wrong side driving. Yeah.
Coordination between the service providers and users, like marking what is the purpose of providing signals,
Okay.
mismatch between traffic engineer
So
and the users.
and the users, or maybe also the that our users are not properly trained. Also, like the moment you have a vehicle at home and your child knows how to hold the steering wheel, the parents let them drive. So yeah. So not okay. Okay, so regulation and education is actually missing. Okay.
They introduced that high security number plates.
Yeah.
Why they have introduced it, we don't know as a user,
Mhm.
but they make fine.
What is high security number plate?
In India, they are implementing that.
What is high security?
High security.
How does it work?
Same IND board. It will be looking like same IND board. One more some security number will be there. Like to
This is for high security is for.
we don't know. Vehicle.
Okay, so they might.
But
Okay.
suddenly IND board and this board are same, almost same.
Mhm.
Not almost same only. But why they implemented?
Okay.
People they are not aware. Suddenly they are changing to
Okay.
change the number plate. It will take. It requires some time. Some states they are not following. They are not accepting that system.
Okay.
Simply
So-
they are fining for that number plate
Okay.
itself.
Which
So,
might be actually an opportunity to collect
we
the
don't
data.
know.
If you have a,
We
I'm just assuming that high security means it's an RFID tag based number plate. You can track the vehicle. That's what you're talking about.
some we are
Maybe-
not
okay.
aware.
Okay.
Some numbers are there in the
Okay.
extra numbers are there in the number plates.
Oh, okay. But there's no RFID tag.
We don't know.
Anyways, let's
Ah.
okay. That's so basically they are some.
The implementation, the
Okay.
users are not aware.
Okay.
That is the thing.
Mhm.
Seamless multimodal integration.
Yeah, lack of proper integration between multimodal. Okay, point A to point B, the last mile travel, first mile travel is actually not actually fully available. Okay, good.
Too many modes.
So too many modes.
Yes.
Yeah, so a lot of heterogeneity on your road network.
The problem is the dissonance between the users and the public transit users. Actually, for a particular metro station,
Mhm.
any kind of a gentrification and dissonance kind of a trade-off.
Mm-hmm.
That is a big issue actually. That is being
So the PTV is public transport users, and who else?
and the private transport.
Private transport users.
And the perception, the difference in between their
Hmm.
perception and
Yeah.
their usage.
Okay.
So what they are following, the desire line.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And I think somebody the other day was talking about like you have the BRTS lines and you're just installing them without proper, and then you're taking them off. So just okay. So the planning is not done at a holistic level.
But not in India.
Okay. Yeah. What else are the challenges? So these are the challenges you're talking with respect to what you're facing as a road user. Yeah.
Private organization, the government has not taken serious with respect to private organizations.
Mhm.
Commuters like autos and all,
Mm-hmm.
they are working separate. And
Mhm.
BMTC and Metro, it is working.
Separately. So okay.
So, it's
So at the organization level, those integration is not there. Yeah.
And also, you mentioned earlier, pedestrians, especially pedestrians, they are not aware of
Hmm.
they are also part of the transportation system.
System, yeah.
They always blame other vehicles, but
Mhm.
they are not aware that
Yeah.
we also need to give some weight for
Yeah.
vehicles and we are also part of the system. They are not aware.
Okay.
Availability of supporting extra
Yeah. Mhm.
facilities.
Okay. So there are lot many challenges there. Is there anything good about the system?
Another
still
challenge is
Yes.
Inadequate what do you call adherence to high lane occupancy in case a vehicle has more occupants
Yeah.
to allow that to go in a faster lane. So that is not really implemented here.
Okay. So basically, what you're saying is that when you say the inadequate of high occupancy lanes, you're talking about, or the high occupancy vehicles? Hello. We lost you.
Yeah,
Yes,
basically I'm talking about the inadequacy of the high occupancy lanes.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So do we have
basically it's a management more of a managerial issue,
Mm-hmm.
but I think that would help if we allow faster lanes for vehicles which have more occupants.
More occupancy? Yeah. Okay. So basically, focusing more on the mobility of the people. Yeah. Okay. So if you can think of some strategies by which you can do, that's good. Okay. What else?
Biasness of the general public to go for private
Okay.
adopting plans.
Yeah. So if you are now the road authority, like let's say you are one of the stakeholders who has the power to make some changes, what do you need to actually make those changes?
thing is we should bring all these
Mhm.
organizations to one another.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So then we need to share data with respect to organizations.
Yeah.
So everyone. I think in Karnataka they are having one app in government organizations, even healthcare and the PWD people
Mhm.
and the traffic police people are getting the data. They are sharing.
Mhm. Yeah.
Like that, some integration has to happen. With
Mhm.
respect to the road user.
Okay. Good. So basically, you have to bring the intelligent minds together to give some thoughts about how it can be done, right? Let's say you're doing it. You are trying to bring the academia, industry together to have some discussion. And now, let's say you are the academic who has been invited. What will you bring on the table? What can you contribute from you as an academic, or maybe you as a practitioner? What can you contribute to actually address the challenges? So now we have said, okay, let's say government has a willingness. They want to talk. They want to basically get rid of all the, I would say, bureaucracy and support you with the funds you want, right? So don't worry about the funds. Obviously, there will be limitation with respect to the budget. But now, if you're an academic, what are you going to bring on the table? If you're a professional, what are you going to bring on the table? If you're a young engineer, what can you bring on the table to solve the problems that you have just mentioned, or even broader than that?
First, we have to understand the system, what is happening.
Mm-hmm.
Then we to identify the problem.
Yeah, but you have already mentioned the problem. We have talked about all the problems, right? So you just okay, yes. So what are you going to contribute? What you think You will say, well, that, okay, I can do these things to solve certain problems, right? So now problem is there, but what can you do? So you are saying that you are going to focus on how we can educate the road users for the various activities, right?
Yes, sir.
So maybe you are saying, give me some funds. I'm going to set up, let's say, some kind of educational material that should educate those road users,
Yes.
that can help to change the behavior of the users with respect to the way they are on the network. So you might like to maybe focus in that direction,
Yes, sir.
right? Because you are you are quite young, you are from the university, you know a lot about the technology. You might think of, can I literally leverage the technology behind it, whether it's a virtual reality or other things? Because imagine you are in a university. The beauty of the university is you have expert in almost all the fields. You don't have to be an expert in all the fields, but you have the people who have some expert in that area, and you can go and collaborate with them. So if you want to, let's say you have an idea, I want to set up a kind of a very good educational video, or maybe even for driving test, I want to set up a good online test for the next generation to actually go through that. You can actually collaborate with the computer science or the other divisions who are who basically have done something similar for other things, but you have your problem, you know the problem, you can collaborate with them and set up. So you are the one who is going to handle the educational aspect. Okay.
The same thing, sir.
Mhm.
What he mentioned earlier, the candidate, I think they are working on it. Like
Mhm.
how to make that video.
See, so yeah, how to make that video is what you want to do, but you know the road users, you know you know the behavior of the people in your area quite well, right? So you have some understanding. So you bring that knowledge on the table and try to set up a kind of a program that can help at least to solve or at least reduce the issues which are there with respect to the lack of knowledge of the road users with how they're driving. You don't have to worry about solving the whole India problem, but let's say solve about a specific portion problem. So break the big problem to a small one and come up with a set of a program that you can come up, and then you can solve that. So if, let's say, you are a professor in a university now, and even though you are from civil engineering, you have this idea, you can go and collaborate with them, collaborate with the right people to set up a program in that direction. Okay, so that's one problem solved. Education is solved now. What else is there?
Motivate also the road users to come to those programs. Like we made the video,
Mhm.
but the road users didn't come or
Yeah.
like something else. Then there is no motive to do those.
Good. So you will set up a big program now. So you know this is so your big problem that you're talking about is education. That lack of education is leading to people making decisions or their behavior which is impacting the safety, impacting the efficiency of the network. You will say, I have different type of users. I have a user who are young generation from a high socioeconomic condition who are basically driving cars or bikes. I have other users who are from a low socioeconomic condition and they are basically on the road for their earning, like your e-rickshaws or other ones, right? And they have their own objective. They want to maximize their income. You have some other, so you can do the profiling of all the users, and then say, for the limited budget, I will only focus on this aspect. Identify the big problem, but within that big problem, what you can solve. So this is the program you have to make, right? So education is done now for a while. What is the next problem, or what do you think you are going to bring on the table? So under your program, that thing also comes, right? Users and everything. You have to make that program big one.
Incentivizing the public transportation, making it more serviceable,
Mhm.
timely.
Okay.
People actually start
Yeah.
using it.
Okay. So now you want to look at the public transport problem. How should I make public transport more attractive? What? Yes. Yes, Mayur.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Can I add something?
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah. So, talking for the travel behavior, na. So, I currently work for the Pune Municipal Corporation. There is a for a 30 junction traffic junction design program.
Yeah.
So, for the traffic, for the travel behavior or for the that person behavior or particular person behavior, junction improvement program beneficial for this problem.
Yep. So basically, you are already working in the travel behavior at the junctions, right? You're saying
Yeah,
that?
currently yeah.
Okay. And what kind of problem you're solving? So, like when you say travel behavior, it is with respect to what?
Yeah, so basically the project aim is the project is working under the Pune Municipal Corporation and Pimpri Chinchwad Municipal Corporation. So basic aim is they are identifying the what are the major junctions that have a major and most of the big accidents and all these things. Actually, they don't have a basic footpath for the pedestrians and all. So we have to identify. They have to identify this program, and they say they ask we to solve this program. So we approach this solve this for solve this problem to junction improvement for according to the travel behavior.
Okay. So you are basically focusing on the safety aspect of it, right? Not the efficiency aspect, but let's say you want to look at intersections and how you can enhance the safety aspect of the intersections. Yeah.
Yes, sure,
Okay.
sure.
Good. So we'll come to for the safety with you, but let's first talk about the public transport. Well, she responds first. So what will you do as a public transport? Like you're saying you're going on the table now. I feel that my public transport system is inefficient. People don't want to use it for whatever reason. So what research or what projects you would like to initiate so that you can enhance the enhance the serviceability of the public transport, or you can basically shift your people from the private cars to the public transport, make it more attractive.
So we will be routing like proper
Mm.
efficient
Okay.
right should be done.
Mm-hmm.
Then the buses itself,
Mhm.
what services they are
Mm-hmm.
providing.
Yeah.
Then comes we can even
Mhm.
include the technology part of it, like
Mhm.
the smart cars that
Yeah.
are currently being used.
Yeah.
So it can be used for buses, for metro,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
even
Yeah.
for normal
Yeah.
last or first mile trains.
Yeah.
So the interfacing can be
Yeah.
much more efficient.
Yeah.
So one part that can be looked
Mhm.
into. Then
Yeah.
it can be looked into like, okay, how efficient the bus itself is
Yeah.
while it is traveling.
Mm-hmm.
So that will come into the traffic part.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Then there is how the services are being used.
Okay.
Because
Mhm.
then it comes like if I'm giving you like 100% and you are
Mhm.
just using
Yeah.
40 of
Mhm.
it for the
Yeah.
public transportation. So the demand and supply needs to be looked into.
Yeah.
Like, there
Yeah, I got it. Yeah. So the good thing about the public transport is, I think at least as far as I know, like for example, Surat, Delhi, other places, government is heavily invested in the public transport, and they're equipped with the GPS. Uh, to my limited knowledge about the various academics working in India, in triple IITD, Professor Pravesh, he has worked a lot in the space of how you can basically, and he has a spin-off company out of it, where how he can manage this whole public transport database and set up a whole system, Indian system, where you are basically getting the data from the public transport buses and do all the ticketing and all those things. So a very excellent example where academia can just not limit itself for the theoretical research, but can actually go out and actually spin off as a company which is benefiting the society. So yes, so I think public transport data you can get very easily with the GPS ones, and then you have to think about how I can use it to address the various problems, right? How do I define my schedule? How do I look at my on time performance, etc.? That can be done.
currently the introduction of electric buses,
Mhm.
they have led to like another aspect of
Yeah.
research of
Yeah.
infrastructure.
Yeah. Where to put? Yeah, good. Yeah.
Because you need to charge the buses and
Yeah.
how
Mhm.
optimal location can be used.
Yeah.
So like
Mhm.
research part comes into that.
Yeah.
And then the implementation of it can be done.
Yes, I think EV is, from sustainability point of view, there's a lot of research to be done in the space. A number of researchers are actually working. I know ISC Bangalore is actually working in that space. A number of actually other academics are also working. So that can lead to a very big research program in that space. And as you mentioned about EV, electric buses, they are being rolled out in actually phases. And I think I might have mentioned earlier also, like once you have the electric buses in the system, like a phone battery, that actually the bus battery will also degrade with time. that might lead to a totally different problem. So that is something from the optimization point of view is a very, I would say, interesting research problem to actually address. And that's where you might like to collaborate with the OR guys, operation research guys. You don't have to be expert in all of them, right? I never say that I'm expert in OR or data science or anything. I always go and basically collaborate with the expert and let him or her make that decision. You might know the problem very well for the transport sector, but identify the right experts to bring in. So yes, I think public transport is actually a big research actually you can address, and at least in the public transport domain, data should not be that big issue. Like one of the things that we have always heard in the last 3-4 days, we don't have data, we don't have data, we don't have data. But public transport data will not be an issue. And look at what other researchers are doing. Collaborate with them. Collaboration is the key. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Go and check with them. So that's one thing. Because I was talking about the public transport spin-off company, you can actually spin off a company afterwards if you are talking about this, that kind of a video, that base material that you're developing for a transport sector can go to some other sectors also. Yes.
The public
Both of you raised the hand, but he spoke. That's okay. Go ahead. Yes. Yes.
the public transport, if the schedule buses
Hmm.
and all the modes are available to the public,
Mhm.
we would encourage them to use it.
Yes. That's where the apps comes in. Yeah. Good. Yeah.
At least in my hometown,
Mhm.
there are no
Yeah.
schedules available.
Mhm.
So I find it difficult to board a public
Yeah. Mhm.
transport.
Yeah.
Then if there are any, like in this Guwahati itself, from here to the city, water mode is an efficient method.
Mhm.
So those kind of modes can be encouraged, and along with that, we can implement a scheme such that the charges that are taken during the non-peak hours can be reduced,
Mhm.
so that the distribution is uniform.
Yeah.
all the-
Mhm. Yeah.
So people will be encouraged to use public transport in the non-peak. It is implemented in the metro scheme,
Mhm.
but if we can bring it to the public buses, so
Yeah.
that
Mhm. Yeah.
encourage people to use a non-peak hours,
Yeah. Mhm.
it will eventually lead to
Yeah.
better distribution.
Yes.
around
Yeah.
the peak hours.
Yeah. So when it comes to public transport, it is a very complicated problem as the other transport problems, and you have plenty of ideas in mind that you want to implement, and that's where a lot of modeling will play a role, because public transport is not just like if you are the public transport, think of yourself as a public transport user. You want to go from A to B, right? You might have a public transport service available at your stop at the place where you live, but if that service is not taking you to B, no matter how much frequency you have is useless for you, right? So the service that you provide, the supply that you provide for the public transport is not just dependent on how many lines are running in your area. It also depends on where you want to go. Yes, it's likely the more the lines are and the way they have defined the public transport system should be that is spreading out. So the more lines are, then the likelihood of you going to the other destination might be high, but it might not always be the case. We did some work in actually in Queensland. One of the PhD students worked on the supply index. His idea was all the supply index that actually you are defining currently, the public transport supply index is based on a zone. For a specific zone, how many routes are running, how many stops are there, how much population is served. But that is a supply index for how many buses are running there. But that is not a supply index if I want to go from A to B. So he said, I want to have a supply index based on A to B. So define my origin to destination. So he came up with a fancy equation for it, which I wanted to discuss, but we didn't manage time yesterday. He came up with the equation for that one. And then he has shown at the whole Brisbane level that I have a suburb here, I have a suburb there. That supply index is very bad. The very good supply is here, very good supply is there, but they are not that good connected. Whereas from the Bluetooth or other data set, he has shown that there is a high amount of card demand. There is a high amount of car demand there in these two suburbs because there is a less amount of public transport. So you can basically integrate various data sets together to show the gaps. But yes, I think you have to think about how you can frame that entire research program that you're looking at and how you can address the problem. So you want to set up a good public transport system, look at the bigger picture for your study site, look what data is available to you, what tools are available to you, and then think about how you can basically come up with some more innovative solutions for it. Yeah, good. Yes.
Okay, so actually, I was documenting all of them
Mhm.
because I think I can only add from an industry professional on what is the ground problems.
Yeah.
So I think the ground problems more of everything is same. I don't. I will concentrate on the from the driver perspective.
Mhm.
Drivers in India also will become more and more. They will get more salaries,
Mhm.
and the only way to do that is if they shift their driving to a higher kind of products. So what it means, like instead of driving a normal tempo traveler, if you now drive an electric bus,
Mhm.
you will actually gain more salary. That is the government initiative also.
Okay.
But for that, you have to get trained.
Okay.
So what the shift required is that we need to bring, and that's my one of my initiative that I want to take is like convert more ad hoc drivers to become professionals
Yeah. Mhm.
by getting certificates, which
Yeah.
is not available in India.
Yeah.
This is one of the something that we must do,
Mhm.
because in outside, if you want to get a job as a driver, a commercial driver, bus operator, truck driver, you need to be certified.
Yeah.
And but the moment you do, your salary increases.
Mhm.
You basically go into an organization, and that's how you
Yeah.
do.
Mhm.
Then another thing that which is very important is to bring that although electrics will be there, the current fleet will not go off, because you cannot push off a, let's say if you buy a commercial vehicle for
Yeah.
30 to 40
Yeah.
lakhs,
Mhm.
you will not be able to sell.
Yeah.
So now what will you do with this?
Yeah.
So here what the industry has to do, and it does it, is increase the serviceability of these products,
Mhm.
maintainability of these products, and also increase the attractiveness. In Guwahati, we know that the attractiveness quotient is increasing,
Mhm.
but now the maintainability question is coming up. And the only way to bring maintenance into limelight is through data.
Mhm.
So whether you put a GPS, whether you put a Bluetooth, that we think is best given by the academy, and we have a lot of engineers doing that. But the idea is to basically always keep on increasing the level of service.
Service.
So
For which, electric or the non-electric?
for
Both.
the no, both of them.
Okay. Mhm.
Because until you what you call phase of the current products, which will not happen.
Yeah.
Because the trucks that you have or the buses that you have
Yeah.
purchased, let's say pre-COVID, they are not going anywhere.
Yeah.
It has got a resale value. It has got a what you call, it can continue. So you need more and more professional people to do that.
Do that.
So, and that is where serviceability, I am actually I will say that's my niche. I work on the service of products, and we know that with good serviceability, you can actually continue using the vehicles in good ways, thereby stopping unnecessary breakages and bringing increasing the trust of people in continuing those vehicles. So if you just bring an electric bus over here and it breaks down, I can tell you people will actually stop saying the same thing.
Yeah.
I don't need these buses if it cannot go. Let me go from A to B.
Yeah.
That's their only motto.
Yeah. So if you, as a professional, if you, let's say government has a new scheme that they are happy to give some amount to start up something, like the proof of the concept, what actually proof of the concept you're going to propose to actually address the problem you have mentioned?
Actually, we need to hit them where we are getting the highest loss. The loss is actually made by still these mass transit systems in terms of fuel. Fuel is the biggest consumer.
Okay.
So if you can tell to the government or to the road planners that because of these congestions that you have not identified and have not resolved, the total cost of ownership to the owners is actually increasing because you are consuming more and more. That we have to do again using data only. So now I can think about how much fuel you are getting lost at a traffic junction.
So you can think of setting up a kind of a framework where you are bringing the stakeholders together and setting up a database where you can bring the data sets the space to do some kind of modeling on it to figure out what is the whole of life cost for things. So coming up with an appropriate framework and appropriate tool that can help you to generate that. That in itself is a very good master's or PhD topic, but moreover, it can even spin off into a separate company doing it for starting with transport, but you can expand it to other places with sustainability in mind, because at the end of the day, you're not just telling the fuel consumption, but also all the emissions and all those things. And that data can further lead to some other activities also, like you can think of with that data set, how you can do the, I would say, maintenance aspect of it and do some predictive modeling to actually help the car manufacturers to actually better make their products?
To some extent, I believe some companies have already realized
Doing
that,
it, yeah.
and that is why if you what do you call that, bus transit system in Guwahati is placed in a very strategic location where the highway is going away from here to Shillong, and most of the buses have to go over there. Now I have not seen what is going there in the maintenance part,
Yeah.
but for sure that is one spot for where everything happens.
Yeah.
And many other companies have starting to set up shops over
Yeah.
there.
Okay.
So if you really think about if somebody has land, now is a good time to make use of it in this case.
And now, so we have three different projects out. One is you're talking about from the electric vehicles, maybe the heavy vehicles or the what do you call commercial vehicles, public transport, education, right? What else?
In context, what we actually work with an integrated multimodal.
Multimodal, okay.
Yeah. So, based on the demand of a particular area,
Yeah.
we can assess what is the requirement.
Yeah.
And accordingly, we can move. Because, sir, we already have a plenty of modes. We have plenty of facilities.
Yeah.
We have railway. Different type of
Yeah.
transit.
So mass transit, okay.
Yeah. So what we need is an optimized multimodal system so that it functions well.
Okay, so you have various micro mobility options happening. She's handling public transport. You said I will handle all this micro mobility option. Join hands together and give the mobility as a service tool, right? So that's another area where we can focus on mobility as a service. That how we can integrate various mobility options together to actually give the more point A to point B service to the road users. Good.
Two idea, one from my research, one from after coming to the class. The first from my research where I started is driver skill. From where I started in India, in most of the countries, what we are doing, we issue the license. They learn the vehicle control skill, then we issue the license. Then how to handle the traffic, how to avoid accidents, that drivers we learn on road. Usually when we join a company or anywhere, people are trained at least 6 months, but what we are doing is we are experimenting with life. So in some countries, graduated driving license systems they are following. There what they are doing, first 1 year we cannot drive without a full license. They have graduated system, first 1 year, 3 year, after that full license. So a person should accompany the new driver always whenever they go out for first 1 year. After 2 years or after first year, they are not allowed to, they are some restricted some roads. After third year only they are allowed. So what I will do is, because every time that full license person cannot accompany the new driver, it will be challenging. So I will develop on mobile app. There I am working that model we have developed actually. So like this mobile app can be installed in the new young driver. He can drive, how he is performing, that can be monitored by the government and parent also. So there he can also come to know how he is gradually increasing, means his performance in the way of safety and vehicle control both. This app is in my mind. This is one thing. And another thing, as I discussed with sir in the tea break, we discussed that we have plenty of opportunities and we are using internet. So we can provide free Wi-Fi service on the all the roads network in cities at like Bluetooth, free of cost. We can provide Wi-Fi so that people, those who are in travel, they will listen song and they will be utilizing our network at free of cost. At the same time, we can collect the data also, means travel pattern, everything we can study. Using the Wi-Fi, the mobility of people and vehicles, that we can adapt. This is what in my mind is.
So that's good. So I mean, as a researcher, you can think of collaborating with the licensing authorities in India and make some recommendations to them. What should be, how should we be giving the license to the road users by reviewing the various models out there, understanding the Indian context also. The number of human behavior and number of ways that India deals with, and then make a appropriate recommendation. That can be one of your maybe research topic to explore. That's one. And the other one is basically which I will come in terms of lack of data. What right? Yeah. So I will just show you this slide. I mean, this is I was just writing in the morning before coming here, and you guys had talked much more about it. I was expecting you will talk about yes, heterogeneity and the non-lane base is one of the biggest challenge you face. No matter you talk about micro simulation, mesoscopic simulation, all the modeling, this thing actually don't let us utilize those tools for our condition. So a lot of research should be done in this space, right? Because we cannot simply use those tools because of the behavior here. Then I thought you would say limited data. Data is not available. That's a common thing that we always say. Because I was talking about traffic signals, they say varying demand and surges. The demand is not if we talk about the patterns over the network, it will not be a one pattern, but we are fully congested. Or somebody was talking about the demand too high from all the approaches, so you do not have an optimal solution there. Poor compliance with the traffic rules, which was already mentioned, we have said, and in fact, there can be a long list. But what I'm saying is, think about the challenges you as a road authority who are facing, plus you as a road user. What challenges are there? Because the challenges have to be addressed. Then some of the questions that you think about, for example, if I talk about heterogeneity and non-lane base, think about what are the research questions. If I'm talking about, let's say I want to optimize my traffic signal, I want to use a tool for simulation. We had a whole lecture on simulation. I want to use it. How should I use, what changes do I need to do to use that tool, to actually use that tool? At the end of the day, you always have a problem in mind. You're not solving all the world problem. You're only solving specific problem, right? You have to basically focus on one item, looking at the big picture. It's not that you are just too much lost here. It's just the big picture, but then you scope your work to one thing. This is what I want to achieve. To achieve that, what tool do I need? Right? So you do not want to go to a very complex tool which has too many degree of freedom and you do not know how to handle it. Look for a tool that can give you the right output for the activity. For example, I talked about SIDRA. SIDRA is a tool which is giving the right output for traffic signal design. I will not use SIDRA for the safety analytics or anything. I will use, but SIDRA is very focused on that one. Yes, this is how it's going to calculate the delay. We know how to calculate the delays, perform the simulation there to give you the most optimal signal cycle time and your signal design parameters. So identify the tool for the problem at hand. But then, yes, the good thing about current status is that a lot of work has already been done overseas. Say if I just take this tool off the shelf, what modifications do I have to do for the Indian condition, for my problem at hand for that condition? That's what you might be thinking. Like for example, I was talking about cell transmission model yesterday. Just a kind of solution for cell transmission model. How can I apply it for Indian condition? That with the heterogeneity, what should I do? We talked about fundamental diagram. How that fundamental diagram looks like if I have a heterogeneity? So what modification do I need to do in that fundamental diagram shape and my cell transmission modification to capture them together to address the problem at hand? And if your problem is to do the signal optimization, that is the scope. We do not want to do anything else, only signal optimization with that one at this stage. So think from that perspective, and that will lead to your own research directions. But with the impact, think of the impact it's going to cause for it. For example, if I want to optimize my signal parameter intersection, my tool is going to help that one. Yeah. What else I had? How can phase-based or accelerated control strategies be adopted for non-lanes? Again, whatever I've gone through, think of, okay, this is how you are doing there. That's fine. How should I make that learning for my condition? Scope down your problem and work on it. That was the first point I thought. Second one was limited data. This is where I thought yesterday in the morning that yes, we have limitation. We have a lot of limitation, but perhaps that is the room for innovation. That's where you can really innovate. Come up with your R&D towards low cost sensors for Indian condition is lacking. And India is a huge country. I mean, if you are able to come up with some, Let's see Bluetooth data set, like 10, 20 years back. Somebody just thought about it and they started with the Bluetooth collection in US, by the way, not in Australia. They tried that, and is so, like, at least it has defined my whole area of research. My whole work is defined by Bluetooth. And I will show you later on, like, and I showed you actually how my research has organically evolved. I didn't plan for that on day one. My master's was on some topic, my PhD was on some other topic. When I went for the actual job, the real world job, I started playing with that one. So it just evolved that way. We were having a chat the other day about the drone technology data set, right? There's a new data emerging up. That can lead to something else, we don't know. But you have to think outside the box. Don't say that, okay, this is not applicable to Indian condition. Think beyond. Like, an idea is there, can I have my Wi-Fi scanner throughout? Or there's a lot of Wi-Fi sensor. I know there are a number of cities like in Delhi, the places where they have put the Wi-Fi, free Wi-Fi. That Wi-Fi router is getting engaged, is getting the MAC address of the devices connected. You have a mobility information for the city, at least for those who are connected with that. Think of, can I go to those agencies and can I request them, can I have access to those data? Encrypt it. Even if you do not know how to encrypt it, I can go to my computer science professor, ask him to work with you free of cost because he is paid by the government, help you to do the encryption, get the data, because with that data set, I can tell you better how your network is performing. So think outside the box. And there's a lot of room for innovation there. Right? People talk about the crowdsource. Yes, innovative source. Think about the crowdsource. How you can best use it. So that the Wi-Fi one actually came up because this guy was talking and doing the coffee break that can he use Wi-Fi sensor, and I know there is a lot of Wi-Fi data available. So why do I, and Wi-Fi with respect to the city Wi-Fi that they have given, you can very well know how it is happening. Even you can start a small scale. Go to the shopping center. Say that, because in shopping center also sometimes people connect to the Wi-Fi, or airport. That will tell how the people are moving. You know, how the spaces are utilized. So you can start looking at the problem that they are facing and how you as a researcher can go and actually solve it. Don't restrict yourself to civil engineering. Go beyond it, because you as a civil engineer knows the transport problem. Transport comes under our umbrella because of the payment, but transport is a multidisciplinary thing. You can only go there, you can go on the table with the proper understanding of the problem, with founded by the theory behind it. That's what you're going to bring on the table. But do not be like, I can't pretend in front of you guys that I'm a data scientist. I am a part of the Center for Data Science, but I cannot go in front of a data scientist and say I'm a data scientist. No, I'm not at all a data scientist. I'm not trained for it. My PhD students know much better than what I know, because they are the one who are doing the coding. They are the one who are applying it. I only know based on discussions I have with them. And when I look at the results, why they're not making sense, I ask them, explain the whole process that you have done to achieve there. But if you ask me how you have coded, if you ask me some tricky questions, I say, go ahead and talk to that guy. So at the end of the day, you don't have to be expert in that one. You have to collaborate. That's the key. So innovative and data, open data and collaboration, I have been stressing a lot over the last couple of years with all my Indian colleagues. I mentioned earlier also, each time I examine a PhD, I always write, you have collected data, make it public. Somebody else should also use it. And in fact, TRG is an excellent platform where I think one of the best things that has happened in TRG, I was there during first TRG, at Transport Academics have joined hand together at the Indian level. And that, because once you join hands together, when you sit on a table, you basically break the ice, you start talking. And that's the collaboration can happen. If you can set up a database where Indian students, basically after they have done their PhD and the researchers have got what they want to get out of it, upload the data there, make it reproducible. You have done the work, you have done your research, you have written the papers. Make sure that somebody else do not have to start from scratch. They can learn from where you have done. In fact, that is what humans are differentiated with respect to animals. I was listening to a podcast. Why we humans have advanced so much? Just because the knowledge has been transferred from one generation to another generation. We know how to capture the knowledge and we learn from them. A giraffe kid will only learn how to stand in the morning. He will not learn more than that. The moment they are born, the mother will make sure that he starts running. but no other skills are passed. But in our case, the skills have been passed. But why we as a researcher, we are not doing it? We should be doing that. We have done work, just actually transfer that. So that was some of the dot points. Other one was like, limited data. If you might say, okay, the data was collected for area A, how can I apply for area B? That's where you go and talk to the machine learning guys. There's a lot of work talking about transfer learning. You have trained here, perhaps you can transfer it there with some limitations, some assumptions. So that's why you go there with a critical mindset, not as a black box. Don't accept machine learning just blindly. Understand the process, ask them the questions, how it is done, and then that will help you to actually look at that one. Synthetic data generation can be another area of research, that you can synthetically generate the data set. You understand the process. Like, I was having a discussion day for yesterday. We just got a project in quantum computing. I have no idea about quantum computing. I'm the lead CI. I do not know anything about it. We were talking with some of the quantum computing experts. We are not there yet to work on the quantum computers. And I learned from them that they have a simulator where they can simulate a small problem, only a small problem to a certain extent. And they are trying to simulate that quantum computing things. The whole idea is to be ahead of the game, that 10 years down the line, 5 years down the line, we have quantum computers. The early you know, the better it will be. So synthetic data generation, think about how you can generate the data for the Indian condition perhaps. That might be another area of research where you can focus on. Questions, points, further you want to raise? I didn't plan for it when I came here. I just wrote it in the morning. So please add more points on this one. Do you agree?
Yes.
Along with that, we have to share our. Suppose somebody will learn MATLAB when they join PhD, and he go and join in some industry or somewhere. With him only it will go. So whatever we have to share knowledge also. Whatever skills we learn other than transportation, we have to share our knowledge also.
And that's where the big community, like at least from the academic point of view, there's a big drive going on reproducible research. You're submitting a paper should be reproduced. Means you have properly documented it, you have the right codes, and you have the right data set. You upload it on the GitHub or some other repository, so others can use it. That's the way to go. And there are a number of tools out there. GitHub is one of them where actually we are actually putting those things. But I think that's the way we have to. And in fact, maybe in CTRG or TRG, we can still think of forming such. And there are a lot of groups already that you have shown. Yeah. Maybe one of the groups can just focus on that kind of a reproducible research with the Indian condition.
Yeah, that we can especially discuss and come up with some kind of common model. Because sharing data is like one aspect, but basic problem is that like most of the time we collect data keeping our objective in mind, and maybe we collect data only in those parameters. There might be a few more parameters which is very obvious to collect, but we don't focus on because there is no standard format. Yeah. And many of the time, if don't collect the data in a standard format, for many other purposes, it become useless. So maybe that discussion was like there earlier once we started with working with the Indo-SCM. So for like speed, flow, and many other things, like because there was like 8 different institutions was involved, like maybe multiple students, multiple faculty were involved. So for those kind of data collection, we came up with the uniform standard that all the data, like video data or process data, it has to has in same format so that we can club and process together and come up with the final result. So that kind of data maybe we can always check with the CRI as well as maybe involve people, that at least format can be publicly available.
Yeah.
So that once people use the try to collect data, at least they will follow similar format because that format is readily available and well accepted by all variety of people. Yeah. So then it might be like useful for everyone. So here data as well as the standard format is also important. And nowadays, like lot of data, even trajectory data, like Chennai is one publicly available. Even SVNIT has like they had share their like trajectory data, so that is also available. So maybe down the line, maybe like because we had recently collected, so maybe like after 1 or 2 years down the line, we will also make it public.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Data standardization is actually one of the important trends. In fact, public transport has done excellent job. GTFS, which was initial Google Transit Feed Specification, later on converted to General Transit Feed Specification, throughout the world is used. GTFS dataset. So even the one which is shared by Delhi or Surat is GTFS dataset. And couple of years back, when I have no idea how to download the data, we did some work on it to come up with a code to download the data. We made it public actually. If you're interested to use GTFS, just send me an email. In fact, I will show you the where that data is. Oh, sorry, where that code is. You can use it to download the data. Any public transport agency is where they have opened their data for a GTFS fund. Recently, we further expanded on it to link to actually visualize the whole public transport in Queensland. The key is very simple. You have your whole code connected with which is just reading the data from one of the one of the servers. It can be the one in Brisbane. It can be in Delhi. You only have to change the key. You have a totally different map of that area. So we actually did that coding. We actually deployed that within QT, and that can be done. I mean, basically, we are happy to. I mean, I'm happy to actually share that thing wherever if you want to do that area. If you're working in that area, you want that code, feel free to contact me. I will be happy to share that. But yeah, standardization is actually a very important aspect. Another thing which came to mind when actually Akhilesh was talking about was, you do the project, you upload the data. We always write in our paper, we talk about future research directions, write the lessons learned. That will help the next person to avoid that mistake. Or if you have missed the data set, that yes, when I was doing this analysis or when I was doing the collection, this is what I have collected. But I might have collected something else also, which might lead to further applications. And that when you put that lesson learned, one-page document, lessons learned, will help the next generation a lot. Those things can be a very good discussion paper into the journals. I mean, you do not need to always write a scientific paper talking I have done this and I have received that. It can be discussion papers also.
The same thing is actually also lacking in the geoinformatics. Like even though smart cities are working, like they have the GIS data of the city, but it's not open for all to actually get. Like I cannot get the road network of the city that I'm working on.
Okay.
Either I'll have to map it out or I'll have to like go with the newer like image
processing,
image processing and all to get a newer high definition data. But the idea of actually sharing and all that is still lacking. And then the brushing up that data and getting like specific routes that you need, that is also like needs to be done and
it is not that. It's always challenging aspect. You will not have. You don't think that you get this straight away, and you can straight away use that one. No, there is a process involved. That's where you have to collaborate. Yeah, so like yesterday we were talking, you want to do a work in the space, you mentioned that other organization has done it, go and talk to them, because that's the way to go. If you talk to that person for 15 minutes, it is going to save you 15 days. Yeah.
With TRG, that we had also come up with one recent book which is published by Swinger, so on transportation research in India. So this like practices and future direction. So it has multiple chapters and like I think it involved like more than 20 authors across all leading institutions. So they had like done some kind of white paper in different areas. So the future research direction which like people can attempt, that is also listed there. So I'm sharing in WhatsApp group. You can just go through it.
Yeah. How many of you are aware of the Transportation Research Board, TRB in US? Yeah, almost. You know how many years old that organization is? 10, 20, 50, 30, 60? Huh? No, not 100. It's more than 100 years old. I think 2 or 3 years back it was 100 TRB. 104th, yeah. So I mean, the beauty of the one thing which I really like in that one is it is both practitioners, academic, everybody basically comes in that every year, same place, Washington DC, first or second week of the January, depending on which year you land in. Same place, right? But they discuss. They have number of committees, and they actually discuss the problem, challenges, and that leads to research needs statements. That leads to further funding by the organizations or the stakeholders. I believe TRG has also learned from that, and that's how the TRG whole structure is established. And TRG is doing a great job of bringing academics together. We have lack of industry right now, but hopefully with time we have more industry. But I think it has done a great job. And in fact, those who are working in transport space should be a part of that. You should not be, you should know about TRG and be a part of that entire group. And that's where you can think of coming up, with new ideas, discussions, collaboration, and addressing the transport problems for the Indian condition.
Even now, it is like in these conferences, we have like best thesis award also. So we will be inviting the people who might be submitting within a year their PhD thesis. They can also participate in that. So they will get a special slot to present their work. Only shortlisted one, not everyone. So that will give you another level of recognition that like how to your work, whatever you had conducted in PhD. Yeah, maybe now we can close this session and maybe start the work.
Yeah, the other points we've already discussed, so
yeah, maybe
I'll skip that one. But yeah, I think it is something that you should definitely be focusing on as a researcher, as an academic, as a professional. Always think of the impact that your work is going to make. Impact is not just writing papers alone. Impact is also how you have significantly impacted or significantly modified the current state of the practice for actually to do things better. So practitioner's impact is also equally important as the publication impact, scientific impact. Yes.
So one thing I would like to add is like, these kind of conferences and that is very important to get connected through proper channels. Like, so I would invite all the MTech and PhD and all the BTech students to keep connected with the industry, because I did not come over here to only gain. I also came here to give. Okay. But you have to go through the proper channels.
Yeah.
So please make use of this availability, because it's very difficult, because if I know you and if you come for some, I can provide some kind of recommendation also. And I also did require the same, because when you want to make it, it's very difficult for non-academicians to go and present paper in IEEE. But I have seen that people who make those impact, their works is recently getting more funded. Even within companies, it is not easy to get projects. You have to show that academic edge.
Yes, I agree. It is always the impact. Always the impact. And in fact, I have talked to a number of you during the coffee breaks that you have said, okay, I'm working on a specific area. I said, have you talked to the practitioners who is facing those problems? But that will show the impact of your work, how your work can really help the problems that actually they are facing. And that will also give you enough motivation to actually design you actually write your research statement along that direction. Yeah. Good. Do you have to start? I think we yeah. Okay. So we stop here. Thanks a lot. And we are now going to have the final session, whatever it is, and thereafter we can have more discussions.